So for many CTOs, it can be hard to communicate progress to the C-suite. Maybe not many, maybe a lot. So not only does there seem to be a constant urgency for achieving company objectives, there's also a general lack of understanding of what it takes to build out the technology to achieve those objectives. Now that's okay because it's the CTO's responsibility to keep the C-suite informed in a way that they can understand, is interesting to learn from, and is inviting to questions and concerns. So we built the CTO Sentinel as a super simple way to communicate these complexities in the road to achieving company objectives with technology, experiments, projects, build-outs, and innovation. It's a tool to help the C-suite keep watch over how technology is helping achieve the thing it's supposed to do, which is the company objectives. So we all know a CTO's primary function is to translate the company objectives into action. Thank you, Kathy Keating, for describing that so eloquently. So let's take an example. Let's look at a company objective, which is a 20% increase in adoption of product X. The CTO leads collaboration in order to determine which experiments or actions need to be taken to accomplish this objective. They could come up with offering a free tier to product X, strategies for creating stickiness, and better onboarding tools. So let's describe these as A, 1, 2, and 3. By the way, it's okay to wrestle through these actions with the C-suite, and in this case, they decide that stickiness is too vague, and it gets replaced by implementing user behavior analytics. So next up, the CTO Sentinel breaks down the responsibilities of the CTO into 4 sentinels: speed, stretch, shield, sales. Speed is all about driving delivery through engineering teams and unblocking the organization. Stretch is about thinking beyond the current capabilities, the current technology, markets, and the team, and challenges the organization to stretch into the future. Shielding is to protect the company technology, market positioning, compliance, the team dynamics, processes and intellectual property, as well as threats from the outside and the inside. Sales is to grow the business through influence and empathy inside your organization, providing tooling and cross-functional leadership that empowers the whole organization. Speed, stretch, shield, and sales. So let's apply these 4 S's to our action 1, which is to offer a free tier to our product X. In this example, the CTO has worked with their team to say A1 speed has us facilitating value stream mapping between the departments to unblock them from any disagreements, looking at a pricing strategy so that we don't unnecessarily implement the wrong pricing structures, looking at our infrastructure since we may have an onslaught of users signing up for the free tier, and looking at how to implement an upgrade path for our free users. A1 Stretch looks to a consultant on pricing, some peer organizations that already offer free tiers. We have to collaborate with the office of the CFO, and in this case we're identifying that we don't have the right payment gateway experts on board for multinational signups, for instance. A1 Shield could be, how do we protect our system from runaway signups? How do we build redundancy in our infrastructure? How do we protect our resources since they might get caught up by users who aren't paying us anything? What is the status of our PCI compliance? How do we sandbox these free users from premium features? And how does this impact our ongoing SOC 2 initiatives? Again, as an example, finally, A1 Sales looks like collaborating on the marketing site's pricing page and sign-up page, preparing customer success for new workflows, installing some behavioral analytics so we can see what our free users love doing, and how to implement a knowledge base to alleviate some of the pressures of our support team. Pretty detailed, but as CTO, you're working with your team to establish this. So now that we have that, we hit the ground running at the beginning of Q1, and this is where the CTO Sentinel shines. We draw a grid with A1, A2, and A3 down to the left, and we draw our 4 sentinels across the top. Now, in order to show progress, I like to write months 1, 2, and 3 of the quarter in each block from the bottom to the top. So let's take the first month, look at how things stand. For A1 speed, we have green, which means everything is running as expected, no surprises. Again, this is just our example. A1 stretch, we have yellow, which means that we've uncovered a few snags that could affect progress. A1 shield we have yellow. And for A1 sales, we have red, which means we have run into a significant roadblock that is going to possibly affect our timelines and expectations for A1. Now, let's do some updates for the rest of our actions for the first month. Here are some interesting interdependencies that the C-suite might ask you about or that you could possibly highlight. For instance, A1 sales is red because A1 stretch is yellow, and so we don't have the right outside consultant to help us with our pricing strategies, for instance. Or A1 speed is so green that it has affected our ability to perform in A3 speed. And so we can take a look at how the various actions are impacting each other, and this creates conversation, hopefully, in the C-suite. So let's finish up month 2 of the quarter, and you're seeing some progress in some areas and some cautionary yellows in others. Now let's introduce the funnest color. You'll see that A1 speed went blue in month 3. This is because the CTO considers this initiative for A1 action complete. The whole C-suite needs to understand that the CTO is no longer focusing on this as an active initiative. So let's wrap up all the months. And for each Sentinel now, you see a progression of the CTO's professional assessment with regards to each action that links back up to the company's objectives for that quarter. Now, just for fun, let's wrap up the quarter by taking month 3's color and keying that to the Sentinel's overall color for that action. This gives the C-suite definitive insight into what the CTO considers the current state of the company objectives to be before we go into the next quarter. In this example, we see 6 blues indicating 6 completes, 3 greens indicating that we're chugging along at the expected pace, and 3 yellows showing that there are some concerns. And in this case, they're all in the same action, which means our onboarding tools initiative is probably worth another discussion in the C-suite. I hope you give this a try. I hope you tell me how it goes. Enjoy.